Well, Dana, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you, and congratulations on all your success in real estate. We saw that you're producing at such a high level, and so one of the main things we want to do is make sure to get you a bunch of referrals. So tell us where you sell real estate.
I sell real estate in St. Louis, Missouri. So all of St. Louis Metro County and St. Charles County.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So you're kind of close to me. I'm in Dallas.
Oh yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Excellent. So yeah, thanks so much for being on. I'm excited to chat with you today.
Likewise.
Awesome. So, I know you've had obviously having a lot of success now. One of the things I'd love to hear about is your first real estate transaction ever.
Oh my God. So my first real estate transaction ever. So I'll tell you about my first client. It's kind of interesting. I had two clients at the same time that were like a first in the same week. One was the buyer and one was the seller. The buyer was, so my background is hairstyling. So I was a licensed cosmetologist for about 25 years. And, but I did it 10 years before selling real estate. So I just started talking to all my clients about, hey, I now sell real estate. How can I help you? And so my client Brian and Rhonda Hurd, those were my first clients. We got them a cute little house that was just perfect for them. The first agent that I worked with, I still remember his name. I won't say his name because a lot of people might still know him. But this is what I'll say. As a rookie agent that did not know what she did not know, oh my God, did he teach me the ropes? He was stern. And it was actually overall it was a fun experience, but I'll tell you what I learned from that experience. I'm already on top of things pretty much, but he really taught me the importance of understanding paperwork, understanding deadlines, and then realizing that you don't always have a second chance in the world of real estate, and most importantly, dealing in the world of contracts. So that's what I learned from that first transaction.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then Dana, everyone sees kind of people that are super successful, and they think, hey, you're an overnight success. So I always like to go back to that first deal, and even the first year. How many homes did you sell your first year in business?
Are you stressed out juggling? Oh, shoot, I really can't juggle. Now my dog's gonna grab all of it. Okay, listen, this video is brought to you by All-Star VAs. Are you stressed out juggling your calendar, your email, all of the tasks you have to do, plus your personal life, which doesn't leave you any time to actually do the stuff that you got into real estate to do, like going on client appointments, negotiating deals, all the fun stuff. Look, if that's you, I have a solution for you. My team of all-star virtual assistants helps me do all of those things so that I can do the stuff that I love doing. And we can install an all-star virtual assistant for you in your business, whether that's an executive assistant, a social media manager to blow up all your accounts, a marketing manager, an inside sales associate, a customer care manager, and plenty of other positions starting as low as $4 an hour. All you got to do is go to allstarvas.com, book a call with our team. We'll tell you all about the program and see if it's a fit for you. All right, back to the video.
7.
Okay, that's really good, actually.
Yeah. 7 homes. But you know what? That first year was tough. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think I actually sold 12 homes my first year. That first year was tough. I sold 12 homes. And I'm going to tell you why it was so tough. Because so my second client that I was going to tell you about was an investor client. And I learned quickly from him how to deal with clients and not be in an emotional state. But sometimes when you need a paycheck as a realtor, when you have a client that's non-emotional and they become your main client, when they decide to cut off a deal, they don't care about the money that you need to make or the money that you've lost. They're making their decisions based on the numbers and what ultimately makes sense. And so that first year was tough because what a lot of people don't know is I had 3 children. I had a 3-year-old, an 18-month-old, and a 6-month-old. So my husband was in school full time. And he was in school full time and he worked full time. Okay. And we were extremely involved in our church. Now, people ask me today, how did you do all of that? I have no idea. But what I had to learn super quick was how to manage what was happening with my husband, what was happening with my girls. And then I still had a few hair clients because I needed those clients in order to try to make ends meet while trying to really make it through this real estate career. So I tell a lot of dual career agents that if you can figure out how to get a schedule together, that that's what really like saved me, because it was tough and it was rough trying to I went from a career that was actually paying the bills to a dream that I thought immediately was going to pay the bills. And then I learned really quickly that you may go 3-4 months after working with several clients, a deal falling out at the last minute, and that's mind blowing when a transition falls out at the last minute. Most of us, when we work, we're used to getting a paycheck. And so we're like, hey, that paycheck is going to pay me. And so I had to learn you can't spend money before something happens. You have to make sure that you have something stable that you can also look into as far as your family. So I had to learn how to budget on a whole nother level. There were just so many nights of sleepless nights because I was like, what did I just go do to my family? What did I do to myself? Should I even do this? Lots and lots of doubt in that first year.
Yeah, and Dana, it's so interesting to hear, the stories, I think, of how we all start, because everyone's got similar stories of how we started, but then we persevered and pushed through and made it. So it's not for the faint of heart. I'll say that, real estate. Yeah, that's for sure. But that's awesome, Dana, that you made it through that, became successful. So now, now that we kind of heard the backstory and how you started, I'd love to hear, where you are today, what your business looks like today, and some of your goals for this year.
Okay. So today where I am, I have a office in the Florissant area in St. Louis. Right now I have 35 agents that are underneath me. Some are on the team, and then some are just in the office, a part of our community. That's what we call it here. Really, my goal this year is to help. So last year we helped 150 families. So our goal as a unit this year, even in a down market, we're reaching for 225 families to help this year through selling, investing, and purchasing real estate. Another thing, though, that we're really pushing more into is into community education. We are finding that a lot of people, they're afraid to buy. Like if you really look at the stats now and look at how millennials are not purchasing homes because they are afraid of cost. Our big goal right now, and we have a big push for it, is we're really doing a lot of education. So like last week, we just had a home buying seminar. We had 40 people register, but we had about 30 people show up. And so we're instituting more education opportunities so that people can really understand. Most people don't know $90,000 goes into a community when you can purchase real estate. And so we want to be a part of helping people to create that wealth story and also create the stability that they need in the different areas in which we serve. So that's where we're headed. Look, a lot more education and still helping families.
Well, that's awesome, Dan. That's really cool. So are these live events or are they online, like webinars?
So we live events.
Okay.
I know this world is going to a lot of webinars, but there is something about the human connection. And so we're really big about getting in front of people, really talking to them and connecting with them in a real fundamental way.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the more we can get away from these screens, like the ones we're on right now, the better. I'd love to do this show in person, but I don't have the clout of Joe Rogan yet. So at one point, I'll have people flying in. But that's great. And so Dana, how do you? I'm curious, like, if for someone that wants to implement that system and do events like that, how do you get people to attend?
So we do several different things. We're really big on database. So everything that we do in the office is fundamentally starts with your database because they always know someone. So we pretty much put together a 6-week marketing plan. That 6-week marketing plan starts with a combination of emailing out to our database. We now have a pretty decent following on Eventbrite. And so we put our stuff up on Eventbrite. We do some neighborhood, and we have businesses around us. So we actually go to the businesses. They've kind of gotten used to us in the last year and a half of us knocking on the door saying, hey, we're doing something else. Can you come and can you be a part of it? And then I'll tell you this, even our clients, they really help to push. Just asking them, can you take this and will you share this with your job? I'll just say this really quick. One big piece that we have been able to achieve with our clients is because we deliver great service to them, they don't mind being our cheerleaders. So we really, really use them a lot for being a cheerleader for us. And so every week we are doing something that is new, that in the marketing space, that helps us to stay top of mind with our clients. Like this last month, we had a lot of fun with it because it was right before we did it at the end of February. So we kind of played off of Black History Month. We played off of Valentine's Day. We played off of Super Bowl. So we just find fun ways to keep people engaged in our marketing on social and also within our database. And they just start sending the people to us.
That's awesome, Dana. And in terms of your team, so I'd love to get just a little bit more, into that. I think you said you have 12 team members. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And those are all agents that are specifically on your team, not just at the brokerage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. And then what does your kind of staff look like to support that big of a team?
2 great people, believe it or not.
That's great.
Camille, who's my right hand. I would be lost without her. And then we have a marketing person who also has a hand in admin.
Got it. Okay, very cool. And then Dana, as far as the agents go, I'm always interested. I see agents, obviously, we hear the statistics of how many agents leave and stuff like that. What do you think separates the ones that are successful from maybe the agents that don't make it in real estate?
Simply this, the agents that are successful, they understand that this is a job. We get up every day, treating it like a job, watching our schedule, making sure that we're doing the lead generation, the client follow-up. Like it just doesn't change. I tell the agents all the time, we're 2 things. We're salespeople and we're marketers. The agents that struggle, they struggle because they are not yet, they haven't yet realized and understood that there is no magic bullet. There is no shiny penny. Like you can go jump from brokerage to brokerage. But at the end of the day, if you don't put in the fundamental daily practices for your job, that you just will not have a successful business. And what a lot of people don't understand is the beautiful thing about real estate is whether I'm a brand new agent or like myself, a 20 plus year veteran, right? In doing this, I still have to stay in contact with my clients. I still have to make sure that I'm picking up that phone, I'm lead genning, I'm staying relevant in their lives in the way that matters to them. And so I think that when agents can really understand that the basics is what really builds a strong foundation, and even when you decide to get creative, that you have to remain consistent and stick to the basics. That's what keeps us in business.
100%. Wait, I thought it was like $1 million listing. I show up and I get big, huge checks. I just tour homes. Isn't that what it's like?
That's what people say all the time. I have a TV show that I'm really thinking about pitching. And okay. I just want to tell them, like, this is not Miracle TV. Like, that's what I really call it HGTV, but I don't want to get in any trouble. But it's not, because agents really do think that this is the thrills and the frills, but they don't even understand. Even with what you see on TV, it's work that goes behind that if you're really, really looking at it. So it's work before fun. That's what I like to tell people.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. And then Dana, speaking of teams, so, I'm curious, like these days, obviously agents have so many choices. They can work on their own. You could join a brokerage, maybe have a mentor. You could join a team. What do you, and obviously, you have your preference because you have a team. So what for a newer agent, let's say, what is the value of, joining a team like yours versus maybe doing it themselves or just joining a group at EXP and, following along with the mentorship?
So the value of a team is, I like to call it hands-on, and it's also a high level of accountability if you want to be accountable to someone. Also, a team should give you, you should really be able to walk in the door with the team, and especially like on our team, we have systems in place. We actually help an agent get over some of the fears, like when you start thinking about scripts and how do I mail? A lot of agents struggle because they just don't understand how to do something. And so for us, we're really heavily system orientated, high accountability, because the accountability is what's going to really help you get beyond you. All of us have excuses, all of us have stories, all of us have something that we're dealing with. But when you can have someone that can see you, that can help you get past those areas just through simple coaching. And I'm not talking about anything deep and psychological, but a lot of times, like I'll give you an example today. We had an agent and she was like, I'm afraid to talk to someone. And all I did was take her fear and helped her reposition it to, you're not bugging them, you're actually helping them. And I just gave her a simple script about, we've had storms. When's the last time you checked on someone to find out, have they made an insurance claim? Do they know how to make an insurance claim? So really helping agents to reframe, I would say that's something that we really do well. And then having systems that are in place to help you succeed. And then having someone that can go with you and help shortcut some of the learning curves that some of our newer agents have.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic, and it's obviously a testament to what you've done, that you have so many agents that are trusting in you and all that good stuff. So that's awesome. All right, Dana, I'm going to ask you the $1 million question. So let's say if I took you out of where you are, I moved you over here to Dallas. You have no real estate history here, no deals, no listings, no buyers. What would your 30, 60, 90-day plan look like to get your business off and running?
I'll tell you the honest truth. Depending on the market, I may join a team for that first 30. If I didn't know anyone, I may join a team. Why would I join a team? I may join a team just simply so that I can learn the market, understand the network, understand the working. So that team might be my 30, 60, 90. If I didn't join a team, the first thing I would do is get in an office where there is a large team that would allow me to start holding open houses. And I would start holding open houses. The people that did you say I didn't know them? Or do I know anyone or do I not know anyone?
You know people, but you don't have any deals going. So you're starting from scratch, essentially.
So then for the folks that I do know, then what I would do with them is I would talk to them about being my cheerleader. And then I would start. So my first 30 days, I would try to get on the team. If I don't get on a team, I'm going to go in an office where there's a large team that doesn't mind me going on doing open houses. I would do 1 to 2 open houses every weekend so that I can get in front of as many people as possible. During that first 30 days, I would want to know who's your top lender, who's your top title company. If it's a state that deals with, I think Texas, you guys are a lawyer state. So then I would want to know who's the probate person, and that would be where I would start. My next 60 days and probably in my next 30 days, the next thing I would do, who's my expireds, who's my FISBOs, because now I've done some open houses, kind of have an understanding of the neighborhood. And I would also study some of the top agents. What are they doing? What's working well? Talk to them, understand. And then I would incorporate some FISBOs and or some expireds into that. And then by 90 days, hopefully, I've built some traction and have some business. But honestly, those would be the 3 things that I would stick to until something broke.
So you're still saying there's no magic bullet. You have to work hard.
No magic bullet.
No, it's great. I mean, Dana, I hear, so consistently from top agents that, you got to put in the work and you have to do these fundamentals. And, a lot of new agents, like you said, a lot of them are looking for that magic pill or whatever. And it doesn't really exist. Anything you do is going to take some time and you got to put your effort in. For sure. No, that's awesome. So Dana, again, everyone kind of sees the success now, but I know that everyone's always kind of either struggling through some sort of business challenge or trying to grow in some way or overcome something. Is there something in your business right now that you're really looking to, grow or improve, or a challenge that you might be facing?
Yes. So, my prior company I was with for almost 9 years, and did a lot in that company. I knew that company inside and out. And so now it's like anything else. I feel like a fish out of water, quite honestly. I have lots of help, lots of support, but still at the end of the day, it is me. So honestly, what I'm really doing, we're rebranding. We are also putting in newer systems to help us become more efficient. And honestly, I'm becoming more of a recruiter. And so it's a different headspace to sit in front of agents and talk to them about, joining it could be either the office or the team. And so for me right now, it's just making sure that the rebranding is clear, which that's a whole nother thought process. Because again, where I came from, it was a mindset around some things that you did or didn't do, and then just the recruiting and making sure that the message around recruiting is clear. And it's funny, some days after I get finished with the recruiting, I'm like, that was great. And then other days, like I just had one before we got on, and recruiting the appointment, and I was like, I'm not sure. I think I messed up. So it's getting a cadence and a system around that. So yeah, it's constantly growing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot, always fun, always interesting. That's for sure. And Dana, what made you make the switch? I'm curious, from one brokerage to the other.
One word: freedom. I did not feel like I had the freedom and the autonomy to live out the vision and the goals that we set for the office. And so, coming to EXP, I truly do see that the business is limitless. I have the freedom and I have the support and the push in the direction that I want to take our office and team in.
That's amazing. That's really cool. But I love, like you're saying, you're treating recruiting and growth and all that just like you are with your business. Appointments, and it's systematized and stuff like that. So obviously you're going to be successful because you're doing it that way.
That's all I know, Dan. That's all I know. They say
That's
success
awesome.
leaves clues, right? So I'm just following the model of the folks that I've been blessed to be with coming over to this company. And they're like, yeah, Dana, I know it's hard. Some days it really sucks. But I'm a believer that success leaves clues. And if you follow the model, the reward will show up.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. Very cool. And then, so Dana, in real estate, I think everyone kind of excels at different things. People enjoy different things or have skills in different things. What would you say your superpower is in real estate?
I understand people. I fundamentally find where my client is. I stay where they are, and I use their whatever their angst is. It could be motivation in some cases. Sometimes it's a situation that they have happening that's not so happy, and I just have learned to meet a client where they are. So if I had to simply say that, I understand the disc personality. So as I understand who I'm working with, I adapt.
Very cool. So for those people that may not know what that is, can you share a little bit about what the disc personality is and how you use that in your business?
So a high D, which is a person that's very, very direct. I have learned how to shorten my presentations. I've learned how to shorten my responses. I've also learned how to give them what they need quickly and efficiently. Some people think that they're demanding and rude. They're not. They just need the facts, not the fluff. Um, my eyes, I love on them. Those are that's the influential person, right? And they take you off track. So you have to love on them, laugh at them. But then I've learned how to set boundaries with them. So it's like, okay, Danny, so today I know we're going to go left, but before we go left, we're going to go right. So it's just how, and what I've learned is, so like even with our S's and our C's, they're kind of similar, where they're a little more cautious. And so it's just really making sure that you understand how they want to communicate, and then you communicate with them in that manner. It's just really helped me out a lot. Did I explain all of them where people kind of have an understanding?
Yes, 100%. I was laughing early on because my wife's a high D, and so we always say like, "Quit yelling." She's like, "I'm not yelling. That's just how I talk. This is what I say."
I can relate. I'm a high D, so.
But you have a lot of I as well, for
Oh,
sure.
thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's funny. And then, so how do you? Is this just practice to understand what personality style people are, or is there a way to figure that out?
So I think it's a combination. It's practice and a way to figure it out. But I'll tell you the truth. Talk about highs and lows. I went through a point in my career where I just was not having a good time with my clients. I was either fighting with them or they were fighting with me. And you hate to say it like that, but that's how it was feeling. The communication just was not there. And so I had a real estate coach that said to me, my first real estate coach, he said, Dana, I need you to write down what your ideal client looks like, because you keep attracting a certain type of client. So that helped me some, but I still was having some communication lapse. And so another coach of mine said, Dana, until you really understand how to use the personalities to your benefit, he said, you're so busy trying to say, hey, I know this person. He said, but what you're missing is you have to communicate with people in a way that they want to be communicated with. And when you nail that with understanding the personalities, your communication with your clients and your interaction is going to be so different. And that like totally changed me. Because again, you say I'm a high I, but the D comes out. I want to move. I'm not really one for a lot of small talks. The facts are the facts, and let's move on. But when my coach told me that probably about 8 years ago, that just changed my thought pattern. And so now I understand how to use the personalities to communicate with how they need to be communicated with.
Yeah, I think that's so important, Dana. I'm so glad you touched on this because I used to have a coach that said, if you just stick with the people that are just like you, I mean, you're only going to work with 25% of the population. You're not going to like anyone else. And so that's so critical. I think that's fantastic that you got into that. We used to write on, like, when we had paper folders, we used to write, what the person's personality style was on the folder for our inside sales team and stuff like that when they came for appointments. So I think that's critical. Otherwise, you get this kind of like butting of heads thing. The other important thing with that, I totally remember a mentor used to, because I complained about that one time too. I'm like, I keep working with jerks. And he said, well, if you work with one jerk, they're going to keep referring the same type of person to you.
True story.
So you got to be careful. That's awesome. That's great. So Dana, what's next? Big goals on the horizon for you after you finish all this rebranding and, kind of settling in stuff?
To start coaching agents. So that's a huge goal of mine. So I was working on one-on-one coaching.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Who's your ideal coaching client? So if they're watching, they can call you.
You know what? My ideal coaching client is someone that's going to be highly accountable. And let me say this, you have to be highly accountable to yourself. It's like leadership starts with leading me. Accountability starts with being accountable to yourself for what it is that you said you were going to do. And then I'd say this, I think accountability, because that's something I had to learn. Like in my mind, I was accountable, but my actions didn't always line up. And I would say this, somebody that simply wants to grow, because we're all at different steps. And so I'm looking for someone that wants to grow. And let me say this, grow how you intend on growing, because growth looks different for everyone, just like goals do. But a growth-minded person that wants to be accountable, that's my person. Come on.
That's right. Contact Dana. Well, Dana, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for everything. So we're going to send you referrals for your area, agents for your team and your office, and then also amazing coaching clients who are accountable and want to grow. Is there one piece of amazing advice that you want to leave for all of our viewers here?
Get your database together. No database, no business. Your database is your data bank. and it will produce gold if you love on it, and clients for life if you treat it well. It's the best relationship that you can have in this business, a good one, and actually a great one with your database.
Such an important point and a great place for us to wrap up. Thank you so much, Dana. This has been amazing. Thanks for your time. You've given so much value to our viewers. And so all your contact information will be down below. You guys reach out for all those things, referrals and recruiting for that office. And then if you need some coaching and what Dana said resonated with you, then reach out to her directly, please. So thanks, Dana. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.